What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So, right now, I'm about 2.5 weeks into quarantine, my personal quarantine. Some of you out there, maybe 2 weeks, 10 days, 5 days, 2 days, may not even be in quarantine yet. Some of you, maybe a month in already, and this video may not apply to you because you'll have your own systems in place. But one of the things that a lot of you have mentioned to me is finding your routine, scheduling yourself without the daily routine of work, kids, school, etc. The things that tend to hold you accountable. Now, if you're anything like me, if your work life is not very, very tightly structured, you start to lose track of even the days, never mind the hours, the days. Quite often I don't know what day it is. Now, one of the things you have to do in a situation like this, if you're away from work or, you're trapped in your house, whatever it may be, it's very, very easy to fall into very bad habits and bad patterns. The last thing you want to be doing in a situation like the one we are in, the coronavirus outbreak of 2020, is to create more negative energy around you. You need to be doing something productive. You need to use this time, which may never be offered to you again, to do something good with your days, to do something good with your hours, to do the things that you said you were going to do over the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years. Now you have had that time forced upon you. Okay, it's like the world, the universe is calling your bluff. For every time you said, I don't have time, I'll do this when I've got time. I don't have time to this, I'll do this when I've got time. I don't have time for that. Guess what? The universe has just slammed that time on your plate, and it could last 2 weeks, it could last 2 months, it could last 6 months. Do not squander it. Do not waste that time, because right now, despite us being in a very negative position, you can create a hugely positive outcome from this time you have been given. Now, the purpose of this video is to try and just give you a little bit of an example of a timetable. A lot of you have said that you'd quite like something to work off. So I've put something up very, very simply, which I'm going to pop up right here now, which is essentially just a timetable to show you what you could be doing. Now, you can play around with this. You can set it up based on your specific times and your specific needs, but this maybe gives you a little bit of an example as to what to do. A few things before I start is it's important you will see that we're not training every single day. Okay, we don't want to be training every single day. I understand that that time is there and you really want to make most of it, but work on the other facets of your training and your physical well-being that maybe you neglect. It's not just about getting in that gym and grinding or the home gym or doing all of these workouts, etc. Think about other things. Think about your mental well-being, meditation, flexibility, yoga, etc. So try to put it in perspective. Now, if you look at what I put up here, starting on Sunday, it's still important, very, very important, especially now, to keep your family time in. Family time is vital because a lot of you are going to be stuck together. You are going to be getting frustrated. You're going to be getting cabin fever. Some of you out there, if you're anything like me, you are trapped in one place. You're not allowed to leave your house. Some of you may be allowed to go out for walks, etc. And it's easy to kind of get that little bit of alone time, but pressures will be building up in your households. So make sure you are spending time, positive time with your family, to use up some energy together, but also to stay in an emotionally good place with each other and to continue to communicate. So Sunday pretty much is a family day. Lie in for as long as you need to. Have breakfast with your family. Prepare breakfast together. Do something interesting and different with the kids if you have kids. If not, with your partner, do whatever you need to do to communicate and start your day off well. It's a day of relaxing. Now, the rest of the day, it's up to you what you do. You can play board games, you can go out for a walk, you can play with the dogs, you can do whatever you are currently allowed to do wherever you are. What I recommend around lunchtime is to learn a new skill or learn a language. I've been using something called Duolingo. In my schedule, I actually block out an hour a day to learn Spanish. If you go to Duolingo, I'll put a link in the comments box below. It's extremely, extremely engaging, extremely effective. I'm not paid to say this, but for me, I don't like learning languages, but it's been really, really good. So at 12:30 on Sunday, I've said just block out an hour, half an hour to learn a new language, to sit down and learn something that you want to learn. And it could be an instrument, it could be a particular skill, it could be learning how to juggle, something that you've wanted to do, but give yourself a couple of hours a week to do that, and you have that free time now. Afternoon. One of the things that the majority of you need to do is stretch more, mobilize more, and that works across the whole family. Your kids want to be doing their PE, their physical activity. You need to be stretching more, probably because you are neglecting it through your training, or you've neglected it since you were a bit younger. So spend half an hour to an hour at 1:30 on your Sundays and stretch with your family. Stretch on the living room floor, have some fun, make it into a game, do something to engage. In the afternoon, relax, do whatever you want. Chill out, watch a movie, cook together, prep your food for the upcoming week. This could be very, very important, because if you're prepping your food for the upcoming week, it's going to allow you to make sure you are on point with your diet. You're not slipping on your diet too often, which is going to be vitally important, because if you have the wrong foods in the house, that is one thing. Even if you do, but you have your meals prepped ahead of time, the chance of you reaching for those wrong things and turning this negative situation into another negative situation where you lose control of your body and your diet, this can prevent that. If you prep your food on the times you have or structure that somewhere into your timetable, you are going to be able to stay on track far, far, far more accurately than you would otherwise. In the evening, 6 p.m. onwards, family time, watch movies, relax, chill. You see the pattern emerging here. Saturday and Sunday, essentially, you'll see Saturday at the other end. Essentially, they are going to be your family times, your relaxed times. Try to switch off from the stresses of work during the week, because I know that so many of you are going to be going through a lot of stress during the week. Now, we come into Monday through Friday. So it's important, just like if you're self-employed or a business person, that you discipline yourself to make sure you are doing everything you need to do at a particular schedule. You'll find a lot of people fail when they're self-employed because they can't discipline themselves to do the right thing on a particular schedule and work like they are doing a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 6 or a 9 to 8, whatever it happens to be. Now, what I've said here is one of the most effective times for all of you to train is going to be, and we'll read across the board here Monday to Friday, is going to be first thing in the morning. When you get up, get yourself settled, and then start training. Obviously, a proper dynamic warm-up before you start training, but that would be my advice to you. Fasted training can have huge benefits for your mental health because you get everything done out of the way. The first action of your day is positive. It can also, over time, increase your body's ability to burn fat because of something called hormone-sensitive lipase. It's not because you burn more calories X amount of time. It allows your body to mobilize more fat over time. And you've got it done, which is a key thing, because if your day gets very, very stressful, if you get stressed out, if things pop up, you're probably not going to train in the evening. So I advise all of you train first thing in the morning. Now you will see on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, these would be our primary sessions. I advise all of you to do 3 to 4 sessions per week. And we're talking about the big sessions, the hard sessions, the foundation sessions. These could be weight training if you have access to weights. It could be the complexes on live up if you have access to those. It's about doing the big hard sessions every other day. Okay, so some weeks it's going to happen on 4 days of the week, other weeks it's going to happen on 3. So it's entirely down to you how you structure that, but I would recommend you do 3 to 4 big heavy training sessions every single week, or at least what you can do with what you have access to. You'll notice on Tuesday and Thursday we're still blocking out the same training time. However, we're going to do yoga or a stretching routine. Okay, the things that you should be doing, you're probably not. Now, one of the things that a lot of you are slipping into is thinking, well, I've got the time, so I'm going to weight train 6 times a day. I'm going to weight train 3 times a day. That's going to have a negative effect on you because yes, you may be able to do it for a week, but after that, you're going to fall into a state of overtraining. You're going to get crazy cravings. You're going to start to lose it on your diet. You're potentially going to injure yourself. So it's important that we remain to, or keep to some level of structure around this time. So what I've advised is you do your alternate days with your heavy sessions on at least 2 days of the week in between. You still have the same training hour, but you do yoga or you do some form of stretching routine. Very, very important. Next up, I advise on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, after your training sessions, you do 20 to 30 minutes of foam rolling. It's something that we all neglect, and it's something that all of you can benefit from. So just to release any adhesions or tightness in muscles and work especially on certain muscles like your quads and your hips. If you're doing a lot of the complex style training, circuit training, because you may not have weights, there's a good chance that you're doing quite a lot of jumping. You don't want your knees to start tightening up, so foam roll your quads very, very well for 20 to 30 minutes after your training session, and obviously fit breakfast in there sometime. You'll see on Tuesday and Thursday, I've said meditate or relax. This can just be downtime, you know, go and chill out in your garden, play with your kids for half an hour, something that allows you to relax and get your brain in a nice place. Then we come to 9:30, Monday to Friday. I've said later again, you can adjust your schedule. 9:30, we start work. We start work, whatever that happens to be, we start work. If you currently don't have a job, you start the side hustle you've been promising you will do. You start learning that skill you've been promising you will do. You start doing the shit that you have bullshitted about for years and years and years and years, and you structure it like a working day. You get in there at the same time. You structure your day. You do not stop until you are scheduled to stop. Really, really important that you start to discipline yourself, because after a week, it will become a habit. You'll start to achieve stuff, and it will become a very, very useful habit that you can work with going forwards. 12 p.m. Break for food, chill, go for a walk, whatever, rest your eyes. It's important that you don't start trying to, especially now with so much emotional and physical stress going on around us, it's important that you don't start to get square eye. You don't try to drill yourself into work for hours and hours and hours at a time, because you'll become unproductive and it will not work out well for you. So every 2.5 hours, take a 30-minute break. Go for a walk, stretch your legs, eat, whatever you need to do, but take a break and be disciplined with that. Don't think, oh, I'll just do an extra hour because I have it. Be disciplined with it. You need to be hungry every time you go back to work. You need to want to get stuck in and finish what you're doing in an efficient way. Then 12:30 p.m, we've had a half an hour break, restart work, straight back in on a structure. Imagine your boss is watching you through the office window. Imagine they need to know. Hold yourself accountable. Use a timetable similar to this one I've written out as an example, but use a timetable to hold you accountable and tick it off each day if you need to make sure you did it. If you need to make changes because you weren't able to do it, then that's also cool. 3 p.m, we've worked for about 2.5 hours. We're gonna break for food. Rest your eyes, relax, go and talk to your partner, go play with your kids for 20 minutes. Anything you need to do to break the monotony of your work or working on that side hustle or building the website or whatever it is you needed to do. Then we're straight back, 3:30 p.m, we do our last couple of hours work, get in there, we get stuff finished off for the day and we get our heads out of it. Now, once we've broken for food, tea with the kids, whatever, before they go to bed, you have that around 5, 6, something like that. Spend some time with your partner. It's important that I know this is going to be difficult for a lot of you, but so many of you currently right now, because you're working at home, are struggling to separate your home life from your work life, and it's going to cause tensions within your house. What I advise for a lot of you to do, me personally, when I can't go to bed with emails in my inbox, so I am on my emails very, very late, but I can detach from it. As long as I get them answered, I'm completely detached and I'm cool. However, I know a lot of you really, really struggle to switch off in the evenings, and what I would recommend is if you have problems with late emails coming in, things like that, and you have the ability to, then give yourself a work curfew. You know, if you're sitting on the sofa in the evening, you give yourself a curfew. I will not check my emails past 7 o'clock. I will not check my emails past 7 o'clock, because then you're not going to have any issues with working late and dealing with stressful emails before you go to bed. You need your rest, you need your recovery right now, and we need to look after your mental health. Very, very important. So give yourself an email curfew and then spend the rest of the evening with your family. This is a unique opportunity when things are changing dramatically because of coronavirus, and you're going to have the option to spend more time with the kids, to play with them, to help them with the homework from the online courses maybe they're doing, to spend time with your wife, to do a date night at home. You know, to do a date night with your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is, to start reconnecting properly in the way that you are supposed to without the distractions of the rest of the world. We've been forced into this and we need to make the most of it, protect ourselves mentally and physically, protect our relationships, both emotionally and physically, and make the most of the time we've been given to create a positive outcome, not a negative one. So again, all I've put down as suggestions there is play games, talk, watch movies, do whatever you need to do. Bond. Find some level of togetherness and emotional healing if it's needed to make sure that everybody gets through this situation healthily. Now you'll see at the bottom here, and anyone who wants this, I can send it on to you so you can give it as a bit of inspiration. Your training session, remember, the main training sessions need to be your primary big workouts, the effective workouts, the ones that are going to burn a lot of calories and get fat off you. On the other days, you should be doing remedial exercise. You should be doing things that are going to help improve you elsewhere. Okay, the big training sessions are the ones to help your body composition, to help your fitness, your strength, etc. But use the other time not to do more of those sessions because you enjoy them, but to work on where you are weak. And for almost all of you, that's going to be flexibility, mobility, and general self-care. So that's why we've got the foam rolling in. That's why we've got the yoga or stretching routines, and stick to this level of discipline because it will help you no end, and there may not be another opportunity for you to do it. Eat where you see fit. Adjust the schedule around what works for you. If you get hungry, eat then and adjust your schedule. Some of you may get hungrier in the morning and you may want to eat more of your food early on and less later on. For a lot of you, vice versa. You may get cravings because of boredom and all of these things in the evening. So for the most part, I would advise the majority of you to look at saving as much food for later in the evening as possible. If this means prolonging breakfast, dragging it out a little bit, then cool. But save food for later in the evening when you're more likely to get a little bit bored, frustrated, and maybe making a few too many trips to the fridge. Save the food until later on. Work should be defined, your work periods should be defined as your current job. If you're out of a job, then a side hustle, something, some project, something that is going to benefit you during or after this. One of the things I've discussed on the Live Up Plan, Live Up forums, on a few open chats I've had, is how to diversify people's skill set to deliver stuff online now, because obviously everyone is looking to potentially earn money online while we're trapped in our houses. So maybe you could do the same. Maybe you could set up a website. Maybe you do arts and crafts and you could sell stuff. Maybe you have an idea that you've always wanted to work on, but maybe you didn't have the time or the courage to do so. Now is that time, so do it. Very, very important. Finally, engage with your family as much as you possibly can, and obviously safely can. Still remain in self-isolation if that is appropriate for you right now, but you need to spend time with your partners, you need to spend time with your children. They are feeling the same level of stress and frustration as you, maybe on a different level, maybe about different things. It could be emotional stress, it could be financial stress, it could be work stress, it could be, general mental health issues that are caused by this level of cabin fever. Human beings do not like to be trapped. We are not built to be trapped and held in one place. Now that we are forced into that, it's going to create an awful lot of negative thoughts, a lot of negative emotions, and eventually they are going to be directed in the wrong places and towards you or towards someone else. And it's very, very easy at this stage that if we're not careful, personal relationships break down. So work on them, plan stuff into your timetable with your family. Hopefully this has given you some idea of at least inspiration on how to plan your days. It's important for all of us to have a routine. It's to not just allow things to happen willy-nilly, because if we do that, we're probably going to fall off the wagon, we're going to lose structure, and we're not going to use this time that has been forced upon us for a positive outcome. We are going to slip into negative thought patterns, negative physical spirals, and we're going to get out the other side having had 1, 2, 3 months worth of forced time upon us where we've achieved absolutely nothing. However, some of you out there may take inspiration from this, create your own timetable, and you are going to come out of this in a month, 6, 8, 12 weeks time, and you're going to have learnt a new language. You're going to have learnt how to play the guitar, and you'll have started an online business which is earning you £100,000 a year. This is a difference between two types of people, and I hope for those of you who may be on the more negative side of that split, maybe this little bit of inspiration could help you move forwards and do something positive. Fingers crossed. Sending awesome vibes to all of you. I hope you're all safe, all well. You're all going to do something productive with this next few months, and I hope that it doesn't last as long as it's looking like it's going to last. Peace out, and if you need me, comment in the box below, and I will do my best to answer.